Going to be turning another Christmas ornament from the Carr Steakhouse. I had a few blanks left that I didn't get to finish up last week, so I've got two left that I've got to finish up. We're definitely going to be doing one on camera here in just a couple minutes. I may do both of them depending on how fast it goes and everything like that. And then tomorrow we're going to be starting on another piece of wood from an even cooler building, actually. This was one of the oldest buildings in Mayfield, and it's called the Lon Carter Barton House. And so it was like a prehistoric, I'm sorry, prehistoric, that's not what I'm trying to say. I can't talk right sometimes. Anyway, so it was a pre-Civil War house actually. So it's several hundred years old, and so that's going to be pretty cool. Like I said, it's one of the oldest buildings in Mayfield. So we're going to be working on that one tomorrow. But for today, we've got two more ornaments we're going to finish up here. I'm going to get the camera set up here. Sorry about the shakiness. All right, let me see. Let me adjust the height of that just a little bit. Yeah, thought I had it set up a while ago. Apparently it moved on me. All right, there we go. So this is the one that we're going to be turning today. And here's a couple of them I've turned today that, like I said, I just had a few of them left over from the Carr Steakhouse. And so I wanted to get all these finished up, and I'm going to keep these separate because these are from a completely different building, of course. Let me put these away. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but let's see here. I ain't gonna be able to get it in the shot here, but I've got this giant chunk of wood here that I can't really get completely in the shot. That is from the Lon Carter Barton house, and I'm gonna be cutting that up either to once I get done with these, or possibly tomorrow, and we'll start turning those. Like I said, that is one of the oldest buildings in Mayfield, so that's gonna be pretty cool to turn those. But like I said, we've got a couple other ones from Carr Steakhouse we've got to finish up today. And once we're done with them, we'll move on to the other one. But if you've seen any of the other live videos, you kind of know what's going on here. We're just going to kind of make it up as we go and try and make a pretty neat Christmas ornament. I've already turned these other two blanks around. These really don't have very many flaws in them to include in it, unfortunately. I love the stuff like that. I've already given the really neat ones that I've made to another guy already for him to sell them. And so those are the cool ones I can't show you. But the ones that I've done today, they're pretty plain, but that's all right. I'll try to make some cool shapes out of them and go from there, you know. But all right, yeah. So let's get started turning. Enough talking. Because clearly I'm not very good at that. Getting all my safety gear on so we can get going. All right, here we go. Make sure this is good and tight. If you watched the last live video I did, I had a piece that kept trying to fly off on me for some reason. see how big a chunk come out here. Yeah, we'll have to change up the bottom completely. I'll tell you what, give me just a couple seconds. I'm gonna go sharpen up my my gouge here. It seems to be a little bit dull on me. But give me just a minute. I apologize, guys. I meant to do that before I started the video. I guess I forgot. All right. So we're going to reshape this bottom of this completely now because that chunk come off. It looks like there's a crack running through right here. So I'm going to have to be careful and make sure I don't have any other chunks pop off on me like that. But not a big deal. We can make it work. Let me make sure I tighten that up real good though, because it is got a little bit of a different wobble now. All right, let's start again. All right, quite a bit more. All right. All right, a little bit more right there. All right. All right, that's pretty well got that taken care of. So we'll go ahead and sand that after. I'm going to take this down just a little bit more to get rid of that chunk that's missing right there. Just a little bit more. All right, I think I can sand that right there and that'd be all right. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and sand that real quick. So making mistakes on camera isn't necessarily fun, but it keeps you on your toes. And it changes up your game plan completely, which is alright sometimes. Alright. That's changed up the bottom of it a little bit there, but that's alright. So, let's see, where's that crack running? So there's a little bit here. I think that's it. I think it's supposed to be right in here. So I think we'll be alright now. Yeah, so we're going to try and leave a little bit of this dark piece up here. So I'm probably going to start tapering it down just to kind of save some of that, because I really like the way that the dark pieces look against this light wood, especially when you put that finish on there. As you can see there, it kind of makes it even just a little bit darker. The finish that I've been using on these is actually just paraffin wax that you can get at your local store. It's in the canning section. The reason I have that on hand and I've been using it on these is because, one, it's food grade, so I can use it on anything I would make that goes in the kitchen, which I have plenty of times. But also because it's really quick and easy to put a finish on like that. Now, I would like to get some, it's carr wax, not the kind you'd put on a car, but it's like a big block of it. And it's supposed to be a much more durable finish, basically. So I'm probably going to invest in a little bit of that and try that out and see how it works out. But for now, this stuff works pretty good. So anyway, yeah, we're going to probably taper this down and then do a little different thing up here toward the top. I don't know. I kind of make it up as I go, like I said. Okay. Make sure there's no issues with that. Oh, that's pretty good. All right, so I'll figure out what I'm going to do up here toward the top a little bit more, and then we'll come back and sand that once I've got another little detail up here. All right. I always like to check when I've got a harder edge like this to make sure there's not too much tear out. If there's a little bit, it's not that big a deal. I can sand it out. But if there's a lot, like what happened down here where that chunk came out, then I'd like to go back and fix it while I have the chance. So we'll probably taper that in a little more, but we'll go ahead and finish this first. I like to turn it in reverse and sand just a little bit when I've got cracks or things like that to try and get rid of any splinters that you may get from it if you end up grabbing it with your hands like I'm going to have to part it off here in a little bit. All right. I need to wax the bottom of this, the bed of this here. Getting a little harder to move these things. All right, so that's the kind of stuff I like to leave. Just a little bit of dark. You can see in the cracks and stuff like that. That stuff's pretty neat to me. So, all right, let's work on this up here now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and taper this down a little bit more so that way it's a smaller section up toward the top, and then we'll go ahead and part it off. This here's the tricky part. There we go. It's kind of the tricky part because if you put too much pressure on there, you end up getting a lot of tear out on the top, and it'll actually leave a hole. Or if you don't put enough pressure, it takes a long time, but it ends up burning. And I normally clean it up just a little bit here. Getting rid of any burrs that may be on there. And I hit it with a sandpaper real quick. All right, then generally on the top here, I've got a mix of what I call wood butter. It's a mix of mineral oil and beeswax. And I melt it down so it's real easy to spread. And I use that on all my cutting boards and things like that because it gives a pretty durable finish. And it also kind of finishes off pretty evenly as it does with the other wax. But it's just a little bit oily, so I don't like using it on these Christmas ornaments here. I just do it on the very tops because I can't melt in the paraffin wax very easily unless I just rub it and rub it and rub it. You know what I mean? But yeah, here's this Christmas ornament here. I always try to leave some kind of characteristic in there of the older wood, just because I like that kind of stuff. I believe the owner of the store that I'm selling these to likes it too, so I'm going to keep doing that as much as I can. That is. So there's this one. I've got one more blank. We'll probably go ahead and turn it real quick as well. As soon as I figure out where I put it. There it is. All right. We'll pull the tailstock back up. Figure out which way I want this to face. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of them. There's like 3 little indentions there that don't really look good. I've got some cool cracks through here that's got that dark stuff, and I've got a couple of nail holes through here. So let me think. Yeah, we'll still probably do it this way. If I do it the other way, we're not going to include it either, no matter what. So we'll end up wasting that much of the wood. So maybe this way we can save a little bit of it. All right, let's see here. All right, it's on there good and tight. Now that I took the time to sharpen the tool a while ago, it turned a lot better. I should have done that before I got started. I thought I did. All right, here we go. Everything good and tight. We'll get started. Tell you what, to get started, we'll just go ahead and use the carbide tool that I made. I don't like finishing with it because it tears out more than it cuts in my experience. And that may just be because I'm used to using the traditional tools. I do like using them because it saves, I don't have to sharpen my traditional tools as much if I do. Yeah, a little chunk come off. We'll have to make that a little smaller. I'll go ahead and give that a little more of an angle too, I guess. All right, that's not looking too bad. I may do a little bit more to this edge, but not much. All right, let's see here. So we'll have to take some of this down because that's really flat. I'm going to try and save some of that, but there's a flat spot on both sides, so I'm definitely going to have to take that down a little bit. I may try and make a round piece here. Those are a little difficult to do, but I'm going to try and do that to save this this nail hole and some of these cracks in here. We'll see what we can come up with. Quite a bit more there. All right, so we still got the nail hole there, and we still got a little bit of this texture right here. Took it down just a little more than I wanted to, but that'll be all right. We'll make it work. That's certainly not perfect, but it's keeping all the characteristics in there I was wanting to. And it's more of an oval than round, but that's all right. We'll make do, right? What is that? Oh, okay, that's some chunks there. So that's a decision we got to make, whether we're going to leave this here or not. I may have to thin this down if I want to get rid of that. Otherwise, I may just taper it on up and just leave those rough pieces in there. We'll see how it comes out here in a minute. All right. Tell you what, we'll just kind of start tapering this down and see how it works. See how it works out. See if I want to leave that there or not. On something like that, if I end up leaving that, I'm going to have to come back with some type of oil to try and help out that wood here. Basically, you don't want to leave anything unfinished. So I can't get down there too well with the wax I've been using without it just leaving a really heavy buildup of white wax, and that just doesn't look good. So I'll probably if I end up leaving that, I'll end up coming back with some type of oil to finish that, and then come back over with the wax to match the rest of it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and sand that, and then I'll have to put some oil down in this to save that part there. I think that's kind of neat, but it's all right. Let's see here. I think we'll just leave it like it is. If I end up putting too much pressure here on this side, it could snap this little thin spot I've got here. So I'll leave this the way it is. All right. So I've got this oil soaked in mineral oil, actually. That way I can get down in here and have some kind of finish on that. Since these are Christmas ornaments and they're going to be kept inside anyway, it doesn't really matter, I guess, if you have a finish on every piece of it like this, but I prefer to because it will soak down into the wood and help preserve it a little bit better. All right. Is there any other spots? Maybe right in here where that is. I've already hit that. We'll hit it again. There we go. See if there's any. There's a couple little spots down here where the grain looks like it needs to have a little more finish on it in here. I'm trying to work it into there before I take this off. All right, that ain't too bad. Do a little bit right here. And we'll probably go ahead and go over the whole thing again with wax just to make sure we've got everything covered real good. Yeah, we'll just cover this whole section up here. Yeah, there we go. That way I know I've got it all covered there. All right. Now we're going to take another rag here. We're going to turn it on at a low RPM here and just get off any excess oil. You don't want to leave it really oily like that. All right. You have to be real careful. You don't want to put too much pressure since I've got a thin spot up there. If I put too much pressure on this side, it'll end up breaking. It's normally why I try to finish it as I go. This is just a little, doing a little extra. Make sure it's got a good coat of wax all over it. All right, so before I part this one off, I'm gonna try and taper that up just a little bit more, I think. Yeah, well, just a little bit. I got to be real careful though. If I get it too thin and there's a weak spot in the center of this, it'll end up breaking off. So got to be real careful. We're gonna just do just a little bit. And we'll finish the top portion with that same finish we did the other one, the wood butter I make. There we go. All right, and there's our final product on this one here. I think that ended up looking all right, actually. I'm kind of glad I left that in there, considering that's the only couple spots that are on here. It's got a little couple of imperfections here, these cracks and that nail hole right there and stuff, but there wasn't a lot on these two pieces of wood. Now these were the last two the last two actual blanks that I had of the Carr's Steakhouse wood. So I do have some other chunks down here that I may try to experiment with later on, but I'll have to end up putting some resin and stuff in there to make them work out. And that'll be in the future type of project, but we'll keep those to the side in a box. That way we know what kind of wood it is and everything. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this this live video here. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you probably tomorrow whenever we start doing the other wood, the other building. So yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy, guys.